people won't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Reggie, don't fumble my hose, okay? Thank you.
Okay, I'll let my partner John. I know he got a couple of questions for you because I really want to get to the chat. Because that's why I want the people in the chat to ask you a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So John, go ahead.
Okay. So obviously you've probably experienced with the comments and the threads and all that, people not liking you doing this book. I think I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think the gist of this comes from like the first viral clip that happened from an interview with you that 100%. I wanted to play, and then you can kind of tell me if you still. It's real clip. It's only like 10 seconds long.
It's fair. It's
and
fair.
Then you can tell me if you still feel the same way or if you've changed since this clip. So we'll just play it real quick, and then we'll
also play the rebuttal to it too of John together, so you can do them both.
Okay. I'll do that.
Tupac's death is the dumbest shit of all time because he died because all these guys sold him this lifestyle idea, but he wasn't it. He couldn't fight. He had no athleticism. He didn't know how to shoot a gun. He wasn't that guy, but he started to believe.
So I'm picking up, feel me?
Okay, so given that people have seen that gun range footage, and then they hear you say, "Oh, he doesn't know how to shoot a gun," that's gonna immediately make people be like, "This guy doesn't know what he's talking about." So I just wanted to see what you had to say about that.
First of all, 100% fair, right? 100% fair. I'm saying that you play that. Like I have no beef with that. That's obviously this is called accountability. All right, I just want to say I'm on this podcast. Is like I don't know what it was 4 months ago, 5 months ago. It was a cool podcast actually. It was about 2.5 hours. It's about my life and career. And they asked this question about Tupac. It was a very fucking clumsy and stupid response, right? And the truth of the matter is, I will break down a little like some of my reporting and some of the stuff. It was a shitty response. There's no doubt. And that's when I started getting the death threats. I got 3 death threats. I can't say I got a ton, but like it's kind of scary. One guy literally wrote me and he's like, "Hey, dumbass, good job leaving your public profile up so I can see where your wife and kids are. Let's see how you handle it when they're gone." And I'm like, seriously, like, I mean, was it that bad? But okay. It's a new world for me. It's not baseball. So, okay. It was stupid. It was sloppy. It was dumb. I admit that from the beginning. It was just a sports talk guy. And in a way, honest to God, when people say like, why is a white sports writer working on a Tupac book? In a way, that clip is exhibit A, why you wouldn't want a white sports writer work on a Tupac book, because it wasn't respectful of like the legacy of this guy and of the people and how people feel about him. So like, I hate that. I fucking hate that. Like I hate it times 1,000. It was stupid and sloppy and imprecise and bullshit. That is A. I will tell you, working on the book, a lot of people cite that clip of him at the gun range, and they cite obviously in Georgia when he shoots the 2 off-duty cops.
Right.
Okay. And again, I'm not defending myself. This is not defending myself at all. It was bullshit. Okay. Shock G talked early on about Tupac with a gun. Maybe you guys have seen this and just that he was like, I don't remember the word, but haphazard or kind of sloppy with it, right? Marin City Festival. There's a shooting of the Marin City Festival, which you guys probably know about. Tupac has a gun, hands shaking, gets punched, drops the gun, loaded gun on the ground. There is the Kendrick Wells. Did you know Kendrick Wells?
We did interview with Kendrick. Yeah, his assistant.
He's passed.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
And Wells knew, Kendrick Wells knew Tupac very well. You would agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he talked to me at length about Tupac with a gun. And he just said, I never trusted Tupac with a gun because he was so erratic, the way he would hold it, the way he would handle it, et cetera, et cetera. There's also, if I'm being honest, and I know people are going to say, what the fuck do you know? There's Quad Studios. When I did interview the EMT who first got to him, who hadn't been interviewed ever in his life. I found him. He was the first man to get to him. He's like, I've been waiting for someone to call me for a long time to ask me this question. I've always been surprised no one has called me. He's the first one to get to him. Tupac had the gun in his waistband. He was shot 3 times, not 5 or 7 has been reported. 3 times. There was once in the head. It crowned his head between the skin and the skull. Second time was in the hand. Third time was in the testicle. Tupac, the EMT gets up to the floor where Tupac is because he took the elevator up. He looks over Tupac. Tupac tells him, I've been shot in the balls. Do you want to see? In the ball. He looks. There's no entrance through the jeans or the underwear, right? He's like, and he wrote a report saying Tupac shot himself with a gun in his waistband, which is just true. I interviewed Watani, who was his longtime manager, and I asked him about the gun that Tupac had. It was a Glock that he had in his waistband. So Tupac kept the gun under his shorts, under his underwear, in the waistband, tight, tacked there. He said it was a very easy gun to discharge if you weren't careful.
Correct.
Like,
But they don't have a firearm. They don't have a hammer. Yeah.
Correct. I am not saying what I said is justified. It came off stupid. It came off sloppy. It came off ignorant. It disrespected Tupac's history, and it disrespected what he did in Atlanta, and also video clips of him shooting. I understand that. But I did have the different things. And in particular, I'd somewhat recently either written about or talked about him shooting himself in his testicle.
Yeah.
That's it. Doesn't make me, you can judge me how you want, but that's where I come from. But it wasn't cool. It was sloppy and bullshit.
And I meant no safety on the on the Glocks. Yeah, they don't have safeties on it. Yeah.
So
I mean, I believe the testicle story. I'll be honest. A lot of people get mad. I believe that.
There's nothing
But I
not to believe.
believe-
I literally talked to the EMT.
I always thought Biggie or somebody supposedly hid the gun for him. I never heard that he still had the gun in his possession.
The gun was
And knowing
upstairs.
that,
Right. Anyway.
yeah.
Yep.
No, go ahead. Say what you about to say, cuz.
Oh, that's it. I got nothing. Yeah.
No. So you saying the MT is saying that the gun was still in his waistband?
No.
And they didn't-
No.
Oh.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
He's saying
Okay.
there's no entrance wound. The only way he could have been shot is if he shot himself, because
Correct.
there's no entrance. There's no exterior. There was no gunpowder residue. There's no
I
hole.
think he said the gun was still in his waistband.
No. You
Okay.
misunderstood. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying when he shot himself, the gun was in his waistband, not when the EMT got up there.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
When he shot himself, the gun, he shot himself beneath his shorts and or his pants and his waistband.
Okay.
According to the EMT. Again, I just want to say again, I'm not like Wendy Williams. I'm not like, this is all stuff I reported. People may say that's bullshit, you reported it. They may say, what does the EMT know? Okay. I'm just telling you, I reported it and I tried to be as thorough and accurate as possible.
You gotta tell the good with the bad. Unfortunately, yeah, you gotta tell the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Okay, John. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. I think one of the things that was, at least to myself, one of the bigger surprises within the book was that you not only were told this, but you revealed that he had like a tombstone somewhere.
Correct.
And that can you kind of go into, number one, how you heard that he had one, and then actually trying to navigate to get to see this thing?
It's a crazy, crazy story. It's one of my craziest reporting. Brenda's Got a Baby is the craziest reporting moment of my career. And this might actually be number 2, and they all happened in the same book. So basically, as you guys might know, Phoenix Shakur is from Lumberton, North Carolina. And I really wanted to report on her youth as well, because to understand Tupac, obviously you have to understand his mother. And I flew from California to Lumberton specifically, this is not a joke, to use the old newspaper archives at the Lumberton Library, right? I was an idiot. I did not call ahead to make sure the machine was working. I literally show up in Lumberton, 9 a.m., walk into the library. There's a machine. There's a sign over the machine out of order. I literally flew 2,600 miles to use this machine. Moron. Okay. I knew that some cousins lived there, still in Lumberton, the Powers family. And they were cousins of Afeni Shakur, and by that measure, cousins of Tupac and Seth. And I reached out to them. But before I reached out to them, someone had mentioned that Afeni Shakur used to have a house in Lumberton. And I went to the house. I drove to the house. I found the house. It's a house she built after Tupac died. And she was remarried for a while to a kind of a pastor. You know that guy.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a great chapter of her life.
Yeah.
And they built this big house. And this is a big house and a lot of property. And initially, I snuck onto the property. I did the walk over the fence. It's abandoned. I didn't know, but I walk over the fence. I'm looking around. I'm looking in windows. Nothing. It's empty. I leave. I go interview the Powers. There was 2 women, and then Dante Powers was a younger cousin who had a relation with Tupac. Reggie, do you know him at all, Dante?
No.
And
Is he a little light skinned kid? Is he light skinned? The one's kind of light.
No.
Okay. No.
There's a picture of him in the book, actually.
Okay.
With the grave. Anyway, I'm talking to them, and Dante's like, I'm the caretaker of the house because the house is still owned by the estate, even though it's an abandoned
Okay.
house. He's like, do you want to, I have to go over there to help the gas get checked or something like that. Do you want to just come over with me? I can show you the house. And I was like, if you're a reporter and someone says that, obviously You always say yes, right? You
Correct.
go, I'm literally in Afeni Shakur's house. It's kind of like walking through in a way, it's kind of creepy is the wrong word, but it's like time has stood still. There are books everywhere, everything in boxes, but like boxes of her stuff, cooking supplies, book supplies, stuff like that. And then he said, we're walking around outside, and he said, do you want to see where Tupac's grave is?
Mm.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Because everyone knew his
He had been
ashes,
cremated. Yeah.
and they had a ceremony in Malibu.
But they didn't use all of them. But go ahead.
Sure. But everyone, as far as it's always been written,
Yeah.
ashes Malibu. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, my aunt buried some of the ashes here. I'm like, what? I walk out with him, and literally it's pictured in the book. There's Tupac Shakur's headstone. And it's really interesting because I appeared on a show with Idi Amin recently. And he asked me, how'd you know about that? And I asked him, did you know about it? And he said, yeah, it was always kind of a family secret, but we all knew. And I just think it's crazy. Imagine if, like, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe was just married in like the back of a house in Brewster, New York.
Did
You know what I
you
mean?
take a picture for your book on that?
I
of
did.
that?
I took a picture of the stone. It's there.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
and I just want to say, I'm sure people are going to be like, well, how could you? That's a family secret. Blah blah blah. To me, at this point, Tupac Shakur. This is going to sound maybe corny, but I really mean it. Like, his history and his life is like for the books. Like,
Yeah.
it's for the books. He is gone. His story, his narrative matters. And I think the fact that one of the greatest icons of modern, not
Yeah.
just pop culture, but sort of history, is buried on an abandoned lot owned by the estate in Lumberton, North Carolina, is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. There it is, right there. I took that picture.
Okay. You having a relationship with Seth? Did you call them, reach out to her after completing the
Yeah.
book or anything? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I did, and I've messaged with Seth several times.
Okay.
And Seth, she told me when I wrote the book, she's
She's the only person I care about, to be honest.
Oh,
Opinion.
yeah. I would say for me, there are a couple of people who are like the big people, right? Like the people who I thought were.
And Aunt Glow, but mainly Seth.
Yeah,
though.
I didn't get Glow, but I thought Yasmin was very important. Yasmin Fula, very important. Layla Steinberg, very important in his life.
Bullshit. But go ahead.
All right, I'm just giving my opinion.
Bullshit.
You can't tell. Wait, time out, Reggie. Whatever you think of her, you can't say she wasn't influential in the
At the
life
beginning,
of
yes.
Tupac. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
she
saying.
was. She
I'm
was.
going his whole life.
Yeah.
And Seth. Anyway, I told Seth at the time, I'm like, I'll send you a copy of the book. And she said, I almost certainly won't read it. Right. And she wasn't being an asshole to me. Like, this
Oh,
is really
okay. She was just being honest. Okay.
This is pain to her. And I actually said to her recently, I'll send you a copy of the book. And she said, I probably won't read it. And she didn't give the address. And it wasn't because she's mad at me. Like, we actually have, I think, a nice relationship, like a good back and forth. I think this is her life.